Hello, this is Nikki in Niagara coming to you from Niagara Falls, Canada, and welcome to Vlog 10. Yay! I guess this is my first anniversary. This is my 10th week of coming to you regularly on Mondays with my weekly vlog. I've been publishing them at about 3:30 in the morning here so that it will be morning time when people from across the globe start waking up and going forwards. Like Britain is 5 hours ahead of us, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning when they wake up. Oh, anybody in Britain who watches me can get up in the morning and have coffee and watch the show, so to speak. And then as we go across the continent to wherever, Australia, hopefully it will be morning for you too. But anyways, it's working. People are watching, and I will continue doing this for as long as it is successful for both you and me. As promised, this month we're going to do a color along. You do not have to participate in the color along at all. You don't have to color out of the same book. You can just color whatever you want, or as some people have told me, they do their chores while watching me, so you can iron clothes, wash the dishes, dust, whatever chore it is you're doing. You don't have to be part of the color along. Though hopefully if you're not a part of the color along, hopefully you will pick up a tip or two while we're doing this. So somebody did specifically ask me to do a color along from this Chibi's girl book, so that is why we're doing it. And July has been a really big Chibi Girls book for me. I've done a lot of work in it this month, so it seemed appropriate to do it at the end of July, or as you watch this, the beginning of August is kind of like our last hurrah for July. So if you can work in the book I have, which is the combined 1 and 2 Grayscale, and we're doing the very last picture in the book. I often neglect the last page in the book, and it usually sits there and never gets done, so that's what I thought we'd do. And this is it's got enough stuff in it for us to have fun as a color along, but I think it's also quite a simple one to do. Or if you find this complex, then I'll show you how to tackle that kind of a page, and maybe later on you can see this kind of page as being easier to do. So let's get started. I'll tell you what, let's just get started. And if you're not doing the color along, I am going to do a chat too, so don't worry, that will come along. So I was going to say, if you have Chibi's Volume 2, the line art edition, you can do this picture too. It's not going to make any difference whether it's in grayscale or line art. It's just the finished product is going to look a little different from mine and yours. And of course, you do not have to do my colors. When I pick the color for her kimono, if you don't like what I've picked, pick your own color. Okay, so first of all, I am using my 60 set of Ohuhus. Then I figure most people have bigger sets than this, so everybody should have the same colors. Last vlog, I told you to check and see if you had the same number codes as I did, so hopefully you've done that. If you haven't, you'll know as I call out the numbers. If you don't have the same set, then just pick a similar color. If I say royal blue, then look at yours and pick whatever you think is a royal blue out of your set of markers. Okay, so when I have a picture like this, or really any picture that's like a complete picture of a background and a central figure and whatever, I look and see what's taking up the most room besides the main figure. And in this one, it's the bridge and it's the grass. So I'm going to do those first, because once I get those done, it's going to look like the pictures nearly finished, because there will be such large areas colored. So let's start with the bridge. It's first up here. We're going to do that in a brown, so I'll pick one in a minute. Oh, the set of Ohuhus that I'm using is the set that I got for my birthday, and it came with a swatch card. And I usually don't do these, but it is a piece of no, I think it is a piece of watercolor paper. So I'm going to fill it in as we go along. In case you see me writing on this, that's what that is. Okay, so I want to pick our brown, but I also have to remember that I'm going to do her clogs brown too. So I think I'll go with a dark brown for the bridge, so I can use a lighter brown. So let me take a look at my browns. Okay, let's see, 94. Oh, I don't have my, wait, okay. So this is brick brown. It does have the names on this sheet. It doesn't have the names on here, but it has them on the sheet. That's really good. That saves me having to go get the list of names. So 94 is brick brown, and this is the one that I choose to use. So I'm just going to fill in its spot. Okay, so let's color the bridge, guys. Nothing special, just color it in with number 94, brick brown. Oh! Oh. Were you yelling at me? Because I do not have a sheet under there. I think it's getting time to throw this one away. It's starting to become a very floppy piece of paper. But we will put it in today, and I wonder if I have... Oh, I don't, and I don't want to go get it. Never mind. Just make sure that's all the way in. Okay, so now I'm coloring. Whoa, these are juicy. Gonna have to be careful not to get too close to the edges on this. If you have a really juicy, I think there's a piece of hair stuck to that. If you get a really juicy marker, then don't go quite up to the edge. Leave a little bit of a space between where you're coloring and where the end line is. Takes a little longer, but your marker will bleed into that space that you've left it and go up to the line. Okay, I hope my hair isn't coming in. Oh, of course I can't see if it is. Okay, my hair has never come into the shot, so why would I think it would now? That was a wobbly line. So a couple of busy days coming up here, because it is, oh, I forgot to tell you that I am logging in on Wednesday, the July 29th, and oh, it's cat hairs that are getting into this. They're probably just floating around. So I'm logging in on Wednesday today. And with it being the 29th and us having 31 days this month, it's time for me to start filming my haul, which is going to be ginormous. Even if I feel a little embarrassed at how ginormous it is. But what with it being my birthday month and stuff, it's just the way it is. And then I have my finished pages to do, and they're gonna be smaller this month than they have been for a long time. And I mean, my pile isn't even huge. I did do a lot of work in a couple of books, so that could be why my pile is smaller, because I usually do one page out of every book. So I think I've done 7 out of this book this month. So that would fall into 7 books instead of 1. So if I added 7 books to my pile, it would start looking closer to what it usually is. And then I have another book, which I finished, by the way. Here, I'll show you. It's what I'm going to film next. Is I finished the Mystery Colors magazine. This is the very first one I bought. It's Pets. So I was at the Staples in the middle of that when I started in July. And so I determined to get it finished because I've had it for so long. I'd like to be working in the current one, which is Jungle Animals this month. And you know what? I am gonna have to go out and buy it because I'm not receiving my subscription. I think that they are just not fulfilling their obligations. Last time I didn't get it and I had to call them. Called them twice. The first time I called them, they told me that they were having problems with subscriptions because they only had one person working on them. And oh no, I've just gone. Do I have the blender in here? No, I don't. Oh, I need to get a blender, hurry. Now, I'm not being as quick as I should have been here, but let's at least get the color down. I am so worried that my hair is showing for some reason today. If I watch this back and my hair is showing, I'll be annoyed. So excuse me if it is. There, I think we did a pretty good job, actually. That's just going to be a haze of color there. I don't know why it just kept going. It's hard to think. It's hard to concentrate and talk. It's easy to talk about what you're doing. Like if I said, now I'm coloring the railing, you know, it would be a lot easier for me to talk than it is to talk about something totally different. Well, I guess that's going to be brown anyways because it's the bridge that's showing through. So yeah, this color's dark enough, but all the lines shown through. I'm just going to leave that for a little bit. So yeah, has anybody else had any problem with the subscription? Did you get this, well, they come out every quarter, so did you get this quarter's Jungle Animals? I mean, it's been out on the newsstands for weeks right now. But I'm not going to call them this week. So anyways, that's what happened. And then time went by and I still didn't get it. So I called them and I said, I have not got my magazine this month. And they said they would check on it right away and get it out to me. And it didn't take too many days until I did get it. So I'm wondering if I would have gotten it at all if I hadn't called. So that's what I'm doing this month. I'm not calling and seeing if I ever get it. I'll buy a copy from the the book place at Walmart. It seems to, I mean, where they have magazines in Walmart, they always seem to have it. Hopefully it hasn't sold out in the city. That's what really bugs me. That's why I subscribed, so I didn't have to go around the city hunting for it and, you know, hoping it hadn't sold out already. So then if I don't get a copy in the mail, then I'll call them and tell them they didn't get me one, and I had to go out and buy my own copy of it, and what I think of that. So let me know how you're doing. If I think that's a rock, because it's sitting on the grass, so I think our railing ends here. So yeah, let me know if you've had any problems with their subscription service, and you know what's happened if you've called and such, what they've told you. See if they're telling people the same stories. So now we're going to do the grass. First we're going to do these little tufty things that are sticking up in the grass. We're going to do these. There's one here. This right here is kind of like a bigger plant. So we're going to do these little ones, and we're going to do them a dark green. So let's see. Which one is a dark green? I'm not seeing any darks. What's 50? I should know that. Is that forest? Yes, it is. Okay. So we will probably be using this. Just let me put it on let me check it out by putting it on the card. Yeah, this is the one we'll use. So we're going to use number 50, which is forest green. So what we're going to do with these is you don't have to like color this in exactly. We're going to kind of scribble over it. At least that's what I do, if you want to color like I do. I'm going to count this one, but I am going to color it properly. All the others will do the scribble too. So last time I looked at my statistics, I was at 2 point, well, I'm sometimes it puts me at 2.2, and other times it puts me at 2 point, does it? Yeah, it does. It's put me at 2.19. That's what I'm at anyways. Last time I looked at my statistics, which means that I'm almost at 2.2. And as you guys know, I was like, let's do this one. As when I got to 2000, I was like really like amazed. I had only visioned myself as ever being at the like between the 12 and 1300, but now that I've got up to, or like am getting there. Okay, nope, there's one here behind her butt. I'm thinking of maybe making another goal, because once I was at 2000, I thought, well, that's it. There's no more goal to get. Because, I mean, my channel's not like Anne's or Kate's or Lisa's. You know, those people have 7,000 more, and Kate, Anne, last time I looked, was at 17. So, you know, I'm never gonna get to 5,000. So I mean, you know, thinking that way is counterproductive when you put your sights too high. Okay, so we're gonna get another green to do this. And what else do we have? Okay, so we have this tree. So we'll do these two the same color, but we're going to get a different green. What's 43? Deep olive green. Okay, olive would be good for that. So let's see. Let me see what that looks like. Number 43. Yeah, this is a good shade to go with. Okay, so we're going to use 43 deep olive green. So I've decided to give myself a goal. And that goal is, so let's color this plant right here behind the fence railing here, and let's color this tree up there. So I'm going to set my goal to be 2.5K. And I think that is a reasonable goal. That puts us just over 3,000 that we need to get. So I'm going to do a little bit of activity to get more people coming to my page and hopefully subscribing, and giving myself that goal, because it's kind of, I don't know, it gives you like something to obtain, to have some sort of goal, even if it's only little. You don't, well, I mean, I think getting up to 2.5 is not something little. But you know, just having some sort of goal to work towards keeps you on track, keeps you trying. You know, you don't get complacent and just happy with where you are and just, you know, sitting there doing the same thing over and over again. Like when I do these vlogs, I try to make sure you're getting some different stuff, while at the same time giving you what you come here for, and that is the chat. So nothing's really been happening around here. It rained this morning, and unfortunately that put me in a terrible bit of pain all throughout my legs and my hips and stuff, which I think was a combination of, well, the rain doesn't work on me well at all, because it's a what do they call it? Pressure. It's a high pressure system. It pushes down on you. Therefore, it's like weighting you down, and like you weigh more in a high pressure system than you do in a low one. But that weight pushing down on my body, it doesn't help my back problem that I have, and it doesn't work doesn't work well with my fibro. It just you know, makes them both flare up, and yeah, so I wasn't sure whether I was going to be able to do this at all, but the rain gave out and the sun came out, sort of, and my pain subsided with the help of my pain medication. I'm, you know, just kind of like at a normal level of pain. Okay, so I think it is time to do the grass. Now let's see if they have the color that I want. It's not 56. Oh, or is it? No, maybe it was 42. What's that? Oh. 42. Bronze green. No, I definitely don't want that. Okay, so 59. Okay, I'm going to check out 59 and 56. 56 and 59. We'll do one of these. I'll put them on my chart. We got 59. 59, yeah. Well, it's too pale. It's actually called pale green. I couldn't quite remember how pale that was. So this one's mint green, and I use this for grass quite a lot. Yes, exactly. It's called mint green, but this is very close to what I like for a grass green. So we're going to use number 56, mint green, and we will be working on the grass. Now, I use my chisel tip for the grass, and these ones that we scribbled, I'll go over them a bit to kind of like blend them into it, but we're going to have to go around the rocks and all the other objects that are in our way. So take your time, and if you're still working on it and I've gotten ahead, just pause and finish it off and then put me back on. What was I talking about? Oh, yes, the weather. Oh yeah, I think I finished that topic though. And, yeah, nothing happened on Monday or Tuesday. They were just stay-at-home days and normal stuff. My sister called me one of those nights. I can't remember which one. And we talked for hours, like we always do. So that was fun. So I'm just going to kind of go over that. Oh man, these are juicy. So I'm just going to kind of go over that. And you can see through this grass nicely. Now, I hope that wasn't a rock. Now, if you think this is a rock, then save it and do it with the rocks. But it's too late for me. Now this, I think that's a rock. Okay, I need my blender. Where'd I put my blender? Is this it? Yes. I got onto the rock here. Okay, that's good. I'm going to be going over it with gray anyways, so. So the only thing of note that happened was, I'll have to wait for it to dry. This bit right here, that's grass. The only thing of note is that, you know how last month I told you we had started going back to Mass, and well, that wasn't very successful. But it was the start of our journey of faith starting up again. And guess what happened this time? I heard the church bells ringing, and I looked at the clock and I'm like, we forgot Mass. I said, like, I totally forgot about it. And my husband was like, oh, I totally forgot about it too. So we both totally forgot about it. Like, it wasn't even on my mind. So got him to put it in his phone to remind him that Sunday is Mass. So that next week, hopefully, we can go. But I mean, it's hard getting into a routine, like something that you haven't done for a considerable amount of time, and then trying to pick up on it again. You know, they say it takes, I don't know, there's all sorts of sayings. In the olden days, they used to say it takes 15 days for something to become. You know what? This right here is water. This little bit right here in the corner. So if you haven't got that far yet, this is water. If you've colored it grass, there's no big deal, because often these little bridges are in these great big gardens and they don't have water under them. But I'm positive that's what that is. Yeah, that's what they used to say, but I think I've heard now they say that it takes 3 weeks. or something. However long it takes, we did it once. And so I think we can be forgiven for not having it down pat yet, that's what we do on Sundays. Once you have that regularly, that you do something that, you know, every day, every such and such a day is when you do this, it becomes a habit, and you don't have to think about it, you just know. Or it's in your calendar, and that's what I have to do too, is I have to start writing it in my little daytimer thingy, that Mass. It's Monday, Mass. Okay, so this is tough back here. I think that's grass. And then we have this here, and it's got some little spikes on it. So is that grass too? I think so. And it goes down here. Okay. I'm going for it, guys. So yeah, I forgot to go to Mass. So hopefully in vlog number 11, I can tell you that it was successful and that I stayed awake. Oh, I know what I'm going to tell you, is that I am going to buy a chair next month. I finally found one for a really good price that is like what I want. Now, I mean, it's not a super deluxe one, which is what I really want, but I'm not paying $400, $500 or more on that kind of chair. And this is Canadian dollars, but yeah, that's how much they are. And I think all between this, yes, there's a line right there that shows that it's the top. So yeah, this is going to be grass too, up to that line. So in between the flowers. How are you doing? Hope you can see what I'm doing. Might zoom into this part for you so that you can see. Oh no, that's the tree. We hit the tree. Okay. Blender. What would I do if I didn't have a blender? I do not know. It is like, you know, if somebody asked me what's your favorite color, I would say 0. Colorless. That's my favorite one. Alright. So, I don't think I erased any of the grass. So, I'm just having a look here. Oh, this little bit right here. And I guess that bit right there. And, no, that's tree, so I don't need to worry about that. Oh, I guess this would be tree too. But no, the tree would stop there. It doesn't have any lines like it's tree. Well, it has to be. That has to be tree. Okay. So what's this then? Oh, I'm making it grass in this little bit here. So yes, the chair. It is on sale for $166 at wayfair.ca. And we have bought, we've bought a few things from there, and we've always been happy with what we get, so I'm gonna go for it, and I'll buy that on Friday. I will be purchasing it, so if all goes well, hopefully I will be sitting in it for vlog number 11. Oh, I can tell you, oh, how much. Let's do the tree. Let's look at the browns again. Don't have a lot of browns in this set. That's 95. I don't think that's even a brown. Oh, burnt sienna. That's a very dark brown. That might be what we need. for that tree. Okay, let's go with 95 burnt sienna for the tree trunk. And that does come down here in between these flowers here. This chair just absolutely kills my back. And I mean, I could sit here longer if I had a better chair, and I'd just, you know, overall be more comfortable while I'm doing this. I just have this feeling that my hair is in it. But you know why? It's because the viewer is at a different angle than I'm used to. But the camera hasn't changed its spot, so I can't be having my hair showing. Because it is a mess, if it is. It's not even brushed or combed. I've just had a day in bed, really, because of the rain this morning. It was like tremendous, and it just so major hits you with the pain. Ooh. Oh well. We made it through. And I always tell myself that there are plenty of others who are worse off than me. And so to suck it up and don't complain. So I've got two things coming up which my anxiety is just absolutely high on. And I am just like dreading. I start feeling anxious just thinking about it, and talking about it here is giving me a little bit of butterflies in my stomach. But the thing is that I have to go to the hairdresser after the weekend. Let's see. When you're watching this, I will be getting my hair done tomorrow. Okay, so you right there where you are, think of me tomorrow, because I will be getting my hair done. And I just absolutely hate doing that. And my hair is in a disaster because I hadn't been to the hairdresser in ages before COVID, because I was growing my hair out. But because of COVID, it started getting way unruly, and I had to hack some of it off just to be comfortable. Because I have very long, thick hair, and I have a bit of a strange haircut. The back of my head is very, 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 very short, and then at the sides, the hair is very, very, very long, I think. So the back part on my head had started getting to the point where I could make a little ponytail with it. So I made a ponytail with it, and I hacked it off. I hacked off the ponytail, and that basically left my hair laying kind of like layered short against the back, and I could live with that. But I had to do it twice during COVID. So it's not exactly in a good state. The hairdresser is going to have a fit when she sees it. I go to the same person all the time. But the problem is, I'll tell you why. What makes me anxious is I have this thing where I don't like having my face touched. I just can't stand it. And to be able to go to the hairdresser, I have to take a few or more lorazepams. And they're the oh geez, I was just gonna go nuts with that and start when I'm talking, I can't concentrate. I don't think I'm very good for doing color in chats. Well, I mean doing color-alongs because I have to pay attention. So now I'm getting to where the tree is, and this is where I want to start doing between here. Yeah, I just can't have my face touched, and I don't like having water on my face either. Everything stay away from my face. I've learnt, this is probably getting a bit too TMI, but I've learnt gradually over the years as I was a young adult, meaning, 20s, that kissing was okay and that, I enjoyed it and stuff. But I do kind of like have to be careful that we're like lip touching and not face touching. A little bit is alright, but it just can't be too much or else I start feeling really creepy. And that's not good when you're kissing, to like get that creepy feeling. Not good, especially when it's your husband of almost 25 years. What is that? Looks like it should have a statue on it. I mean, it's probably a shrine, but we're only looking at the side of it. So if it's a shrine, well, I guess they're made out of everything, but in this garden here, it would probably be cement. Or maybe like some kind of stone. Yeah, I think we can get away with that. Don't we have like a stone color? No, I thought there's a color called stone. Oh, it was probably just not in this set because it's a 60 set. Why is that wet there? I don't know. Weird. Okay, it's not wet. It just looks wet. Like it's a big spot, and it's not where there's anything colored on that side. That's that shape. Oh yeah, it is. It's her legs. Just must have been a very juicy marker. Well, it didn't do anything to this. I'm very careful of looking in my books now to see if there's any yellow where there's red. To see if it's made any yellow marks on my paper, because I mean I saw what it did to Misty's pages in her Deborah Muller books. I mean, that's just awful. Those are bad quality markers that do that. Now I know that when the Everblends first came out, they did that really badly. Every time you used red, you ended up having yellow stains on the next page. Or more. So now, what happened with that and whether they changed their formula or something, I have absolutely no idea. But I would never buy those because of that. So, and only the 60 set is available on Amazon Canada anyways, so they're expensive. So there's that. There's the dentist. And then the other thing that I have. Okay, guys, let's go in with gray now, because we're going to do all those stones. Starting with these two, these in the back, these down here, and there's some little ones right here. It looks like there's also some very tiny ones here and maybe on there. So if you went around those, you can color those in gray, and I think I can't go over top of them because the gray won't show up on top. So I've just gone over those with green. But let's do the stones now, okay? So, I want to use a warm green, I think. And let's try with, well, green gray would look good too since the grass is green. What have we got in green gray? We have one. I have one. GG3. Let's see what it looks like. I had wanted a little bit darker, but I think that will do, because I think green gray is going to look best among the green grass. So let's go with that. Everything, it looks like everything went black and white in my picture, except for my orange nails. Well, I guess that's because, you know, it is bright and sunny out there, and over my house, well, over my street really, it starts at the houses across the street, there is a huge black cloud. So I think it's going to rain again, and the wind is picking up too. So, yeah, ooh, that's probably why my thigh is hurting. Okay, how long have we been on here? Oh, my goodness. Well, I think we can go a little bit longer. Let's finish these stones and see where we are. So, yeah, the other thing that I have to do is go to the dentist, and I need to go badly, because the last time I went, they said that I needed some touch-ups done. Like, there was nothing new to do, but I had the cavity, not a cavity, I had a filling which was old and was starting to crack up. Well, and also that I had, I can't remember what the other thing was, but it was my top left and it was my bottom right, both in the molar area. So since I had that, I canceled my appointment for it when the day came and rearranged it, and by that point I was just extremely anxious over it. So I got my husband to cancel the appointment and tell them why I was canceling it, and they never called back, and I never dealt with it, and like, my cleaning came up in June, and we never heard from them. Now, whether that was just because of COVID or what, but I think they've just left me to my own devices. And so I need to go, because that filling that was starting to crack has cracked. And I need to get something done, or else it's going to fall out. I don't know what the other thing is, because I don't have any other pain in my mouth or problems. So if they can do both of them at the same time, like, I'm going to go in and they're just going to do a check on me or clean my teeth. Oh God, clean my teeth. So yeah, whatever they're going to do to me there, I'm not going to like it, because they can't help but touch my face. They do a lot of turn your head left, turn your head right, a little bit more. You know, they do a lot of that instead of holding on to my chin and moving me that way. So they are respectful of me. But the thing is that my doctor's office had two like separate centers, and I always went to this one, and my husband and son, they always went to that one. And eventually, like, this was about 2 years ago, this one closed up and they moved into this one, and I guess it expanded a bit. Not a lot of the same people came who were here to here, so it's like I knew everybody there. I felt comfortable because I'd been there so many times that I just, I felt comfortable going in, and I just felt, kind of a little bit of anxiety while I was in there getting the work done. You just can't get rid of that. But a few lorazepams, and I could make it through. But now when we're here, I walk in and I'm not sure which way to go, and the lady will say hi to me, and I'm just like, really anxious and not doing well. And, it's not a familiar face like it used to be. I knew the receptionist by face. I could even have a little conversation with her, but not this one. and the hygienist is a different person, and the doctor is a different person, and I don't get the same ones every time I go. So it is going to take me a long time before I feel comfortable there. And yeah, so I think I should stop talking about it because it's starting to make me anxious. Okay, I'm going to stop for today. We have done what you can do for the Coloralong is get out a blue and do the water that's here, and get out another blue, a different one than you used for the water, and do the sky. And that's, you know, over here, in here, under her hair, not in any flowers, and up here and over there. So do the water and the sky. You're going to work with 2 different blues. Okay? Doesn't matter what blues they are, but have them be different ones. And if it's me, this one's going to be darker than the sky. The sky will be a light, well, kind of like a sky blue, and the water will be a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm going to end this for today, and I will log on. Tomorrow I have my pain clinic appointment. I usually come home dead tired and like absolutely exhausted when I come home from being out. You know, it's not going to the pain clinic, well, that doesn't help, but it's just when I go out and like there's people and it's, you know, everything's going on and I have to talk to people and stuff. When I come home, I am absolutely exhausted to the bone. So I usually sleep, and sometimes I sleep right through supper and like wake up at about 8 o'clock, and then I'll get up and go to the bathroom and roll over and go to sleep until morning. But hopefully it'll be just lay down and sleep for a few hours and get up. So if so, I'll come on tomorrow, but of course I will be seeing you again. So for you, it's just going to be a second until you see me again. So I'm going to say toodaloo, and I will see you next time I log on. Ciao for now. Well, I am back, logging in on Friday around 3:30 in the afternoon. So, where we left off, I had asked you guys to color the sky and the water. So if you didn't pause and do that, then please do it now. Pause me. Okay, good. You're back. Now that we have that done, we can move on to the few things we have left in the background. And let's start with this little guy here, which has been bothering me. I think we'll do it kind of a yellowish color so that it could maybe be goldish. Or why don't we use gold? I think that's a good idea. What we'll do is, if you have a gold marker or a gold gel pen, go ahead and get that now. I have bought quite a few sets of markers from Crayola. I mean metallic markers from Crayola to, I guess the best brand I have is Winsor & Newton's Pro Color, their metallic set. And every single one of them is virtually the same. They are not alcoholic markers. Even the Pro Color art ones are not metallic ones. They're felt tips, and they're made of some weird stuff. I don't know what it is that they're made of, but they look more metallic putting them down than they do after a while. But they're kind of like the color of that, you know, the color of the metal is gold or silver or brass, or, you know, sometimes they have rose beige and, not rose beige, I mean rose gold, and, well, you even get metallic greens and blues and what have you. Problem with these is that they're opaque, so if we're going to want it to keep some semblance of the shape of this, we're going to have to be careful not to go over the lines. And you can, oh, I still got the sheet under there. Okay. These won't bleed through your page because they're not metallic. So if you don't have a metallic marker, like I said, a metallic gel pen, or even a metallic pencil, you can add that here and get into some mixed media. Add some pencil on your page. So yeah, then just color this in, and I always do straight lines when I'm working with something that's, I don't even know if these are water-based. Oh, and I should tell you that I am using Sargent Arts. They're one of my favorites. I do like the Pro Color ones the best, but these are my go-to after them. And just kind of like draw a border around the shape, but don't go up to the edges. Leave a little bit so that we still have a black line there. And this is going to be tricky here. If you go over, it's alright. It's not the end of the world. These are quite thin as it is, just kind of drawing down the middle. So I'm sure you all know that the Monarchs have finally come out. That is the new 48 set of Black Widow pencils. They're called Monarchs, and they're a new range of 48 colors. I like it because they add a lot of light colors, and there's also a lot of blues in there, and that's one thing that I think that the original set is sorely missing, is blues. So they've come out in the States so far, and then after that they're expected to come out in the UK, then the EU, and the rest of the world, just kind of, you know, here, one country here, there, and wherever. So that's it. We're done coloring our, and I'm thinking it's a what did I call that yesterday? A temple. Yes. And they have little temples all over the place, and each one is dedicated to a specific god, that they can go up to it and give offerings and pray, and in hopes that the god will answer their wishes. So we got that done. Now we have the sun. So I'm gonna grab, you could do it as a moon if you want as well. Perhaps you chose to color your sky black. And if you want to change your mind now, if you've done a blue sky, you can easily go over that with one coating of your black marker, 120. But I'm keeping mine the sun. I'm just going to find a yellow. Okay, 35. What color is that? That's too bright. 45. What is that? Canaria yellow? Forgotten that for a minute. 30. What? 45. Ah, that's not bad. We'll go with this one. I should have done this when I was off. Should have filled this out. I actually thought about it one night, but obviously I didn't. So yeah, the last country that's going to get them is going to be Canada. They expect Canada to be the last country to get them, and I'll bet you anything we are, because our border is so backed up with mail that they just can't handle it. I've got 2 parcels, one from the States one from Great Britain, and they've both taken, let's say it's getting close to 4 weeks, and they're both at customs. And there's nothing I can do about it until they move. Then they'll actually know where it is. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't be using that side. Was I using this page all along? Well, I guess it's not going to matter then, because I don't have any black. I don't know, that just kind of bothered me when I saw letters showing up underneath there. Oh boy, these are juicy markers. Woo! Nothing like having a nice brand new set of markers. These are my Ohuhus that I got for my birthday. I was going to use them as backups, but then I thought, well, why don't I just use them at the table here? So that's the sun done. And you know, while I have this yellow out, I am going to do the middle of the flowers. There are some flowers over here, and there's 2 over here. This one is not showing its center, but we can get one in the middle of that one. And these pretty much look like these flowers to me. So I'm going to do them the same. I'm doing those middles. I always do them yellow. I suppose they could be brown or orangish. So just, I don't know. So let's get a pretty flower color now. Let's go with, let's go with some blue. What's 70? Oh no, that's too dark. That's 65. That's 66 is the color of the sky. I don't know. Let's not do blue. Okay. What is this? 9 or 6? What is 6? Vivid pink, and 9 is dark blush. Okay, well this has got to be vivid pink. Well, that's what we'll do them. Number 6. Vivid pink. Yes, it is. That's almost fluorescent pink. But I don't believe this set comes with a fluorescent pink. It comes with a fluorescent yellow and orange. Okay, so we're coloring our flowers in with Vivid Pink, number 6, or choose your own color. So yeah, that's the problem with us getting mail, but we'll see. We'll see. Just hope that my orders arrive. So, heard something today which I've heard many times before. I commented on it once on somebody's YouTube, or I don't know where. And since I heard it again today, I thought I would just bring it up as a topic of conversation. And that's when you're looking at a book and you say, it's just Shutterstock. It's just Shutterstock. And some people even call it Shuttershock. And it's not Shuttershock. It's Shutter. No, I can't even say it. It is Shutterstock. Because they are stock images. Now that doesn't mean, I don't know, it's like when people say just, I have a little bit of the tree showing behind there. People say just Shutterstock as if these are some sort of inferior pictures that were created by 6th graders or something, and they're not. They are legitimate. These are legitimate artists who decide to sell their illustrations or photos to Shutterstock. And I've never done it myself or anything, so I'm not exactly sure of how the process goes, but I would think since Shutterstock is a business, that they don't just take everything, because they're paying for them. So they'd have to pass some kind of quality standard. Shutterstock would want them. So what happens is that, you know, let's say you're an artist and you don't have any viable way of selling your art. You know, maybe you're a beginner, but you're producing some decent stuff, or, you know, you've been at this for a long time and you have a lot of sketches and things in your sketchbooks and just all sorts of sketches all over the place, or, you know, completed you know, like paintings or whatever, or prints or whatever, and you don't really have a viable market for those either. So what these artists do, and we can consider them artists, is, and you know what, people have other reasons too. Maybe it's money, they need money, you know, whatever. Is they decide to sell them to Shutterstock. Okay, alright, so let's just stop there for a minute. We have finished the background, and now all we have left is the girl, and she doesn't seem as imposing as she did when we had all that background there. So now she's pretty much any other girl that you color. Do skin, do hair, do her clothes. So let's start by getting a flesh color out. Now, my recommendation to you is barely beige, but I don't have anything on me that tells me the number of that color. So if you can find that one in your sets, go for it. I do not have that, which I think is just shameful. Barely beige is, oh my God. Just realized this set doesn't have potato brown. Oh, that's worth sending it back for. Come on. Every colorist's favorite color is 103 potato brown. That's not in here. No wonder barely beige isn't in here. That's everybody's favorite skin tone as well. Honestly, I think it's shameful. It's 60 colors too. It's not 40. So I'm going to have to pick what I'm going to use for skin tone. So I'm going to try pastel peach. Don't really know what that looks like. So if for some reason on this planet you don't have barely beige, or you're going to go with a dark skin tone, or I should say you don't want to go with a dark skin tone, then let's try out a couple here to decide what will be good for us. Well, I'm going to say this is probably the one that we'll use. It looks like a skin tone color. Yeah, it's very light, but I'm going to go with it. So I'm using 26 Pastel Peach. If you want to take some time trying out some colors, just pause it now and find, excuse me, and find your skin tone that you're going to use. So, for the rest of us, with 26 Pastel Peach, let's start coloring all the skin. Now, I'll just show you how I color skin. Now, this doesn't work when you've got a whole page of a head, and the head is this big. But if you're doing a character who has a head and fits on this size of paper, it will work. So now, what we have to try and do is go around this face without lifting our marker off of the page. If we do have to lift it up off of the page, we want to be doing so against the line. So my take on this is to do up here. Okay. You know, it's like doing it on screen is kind of makes you forget everything. Now, where am I going to start here? Yeah. You know what I just said? I'm not going to follow it, because I always start over here. And she does have a few little places up here where her skin goes in up into her fringe or bangs. Okay, so what I do is I go up and down. You can go around her eyebrow if that's easier for you, but I've got a really juicy marker here and it's not going to work. So then I'm coming down here. Now, I'm really lucky that this is such a juicy marker. But what I have to do now is, since I've decided to go over here, it's quite difficult to see what is skin. Okay, I have to go over here and get back to that line before it dries. Now we're going up and down. Okay, so I'm back to it. And go back over what you've done, so we're combining it with it. And just keep going in a straight up and down motion. I'm going to go over the lips because I'm going to use a darker color than this for them. And then I'm just going to go up here. So now I'm trying to get this done. Her face is too small to do the up and down method I was talking about. Get back over here while it's still wet. So having juicy markers is important when you're needing to work with no lines. So there, I did a good job on her face. Now, one thing I have often forgotten to do is ears, so I'm always very careful to check for ears at this point. And there is one. So make sure you get all of the skin by checking for necks. Do the arms. Check and see if there's two. Do the legs. Check and see if there's two. And don't forget the feet. I've seen colorists forget all sorts of things and not notice it until later on. So what was I talking about? Oh, Shutterstock. Okay. So artists sell their images to Shutterstock and they receive payment for their images. And that can be worked out whatever way Shutterstock does that. So now Shutterstock owns a whole bunch of images. How do you get to use them? Well, you have to buy a subscription to Shutterstock. And it's not cheap because it's intended for businesses. So I don't know how much it is. We can look it up. But it isn't going to be cheap because it's intended for people who are using the images for business purposes. I am sorry about my voice. It just wants to do a frog right now. Coughing doesn't even help. I'm going to take a sip and see if it happens, but and I am sorry. I have been sitting in a weird position and I've had my book all tilted to the side. I'm making a right farce of this part of the video, of the vlog. And so then the businesses purchase the Shutterstock from the Shutterstock inventory, and they have use of those pictures now. They can put them wherever they want, into published magazines and stuff, because the rights to those pictures have been paid for. And they can I won't say they can do as they wish, because I don't know what the terms are at Shutterstock. But they can put them in their coloring books. They can put them in their written books. They can put them on packaging, on a business card, just, you know, wherever they want an image. But they've purchased for those. So now I ask you, is it really fair? And when you're looking at a coloring book that has stock images in it from Shutterstock, and besides that, there are other companies. There's not just Shutterstock. Shutterstock is the one that has become the name or the leader in the industry, I guess. It's the one we all know and refer to. And I have seen other names in books, but I've looked at a lot of books in my life, considering that I was a bookseller for 15 years, and hundreds of thousands of books have passed through my hands. And more. So, part of me is thinking that she has socks on because she has no toes. Oh darn. I don't want that to be skin colored then, because she has no toes. Okay. Now I'm just going to leave them and go over them with a different color. So if you've done that too, if you've chosen a dark color, you're going to have to live with it. If you've chosen a light color, we can go over it. So I'm going to use some kind of like traditional Japanese colors for her kimono thing, and I'm going to go with red and gold. And since I have this out, I'm going to use my metallic marker as the gold, and I will get a red on here. Let's see, they have 15 geranium. There it is. Let's just take a look and see if it's exactly as I remember it. Not too dark. Yeah, it's actually a little bit darker than I remembered it being. But remember, as I said, that shades and hues, no, I think the color is the hue. So shades and tints of the hue will change, be darker, lighter, but still be the basic color. So I'm going to go with red and gold and just work on her outfit. I am not going to do anything on the feet except this little decoration circle she has down there. I'll probably use the gold on that. So, continue on, my colorist. Oh, we're using number 15, geranium. So the question that I want to put to you is, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say is it right or wrong, but just are we disrespecting the people who made those images by calling them just Shutterstock? I feel that way. I feel I'm not giving the artist credit. And nowadays, lots of times you will see in mainstream publications that use Shutterstock in their images, they will say that they used images from, and then the person's name or the company name or the nickname, internet handle that the person has chosen to use for themselves when they went to sell their stuff on Shutterstock. So you'll notice that in a lot of books being published nowadays. In the past, it was simple enough to just put Shutterstock, and since I do still see that, I think that is also that it is still okay to just put Shutterstock. I think it's giving an extra piece of recognition by actually putting down the people's title, name, handle, whatever, company name. So they're paying a little bit of extra respect to the artist by doing that in their publications and stuff. They don't have to. Now, personally, I always had an idea how Shutterstock worked, and I just went and did a little bit of research to see if I had the general idea or if I was off somewhere. And my research, gave me a little bit more information. I wasn't looking deep, to find out prices and rules and regulations in terms of service and all that kind of stuff. Just wanted to make sure I was saying how it worked was right, and it is. So I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to say just Shutterstock. Makes it sound like they're just some free pictures sitting there for the taking, and people didn't bother drawing their own pictures. They included just Shutterstock. Well, somebody did those pictures, and they've been paid, so it's a viable source of payment for illustrators. Whatever reasons they've chosen to sell their stuff to these businesses, these places that sell stock images. And you can't just go along and buy an image from Shutterstock. First of all, the Shutterstock databases are not available to view unless you are a paid subscriber. Then you get to see the pictures. And you can't just pay cash for this set of pictures and then, go on your way. No, you have to pay your monthly subscription, which I don't know whether it runs pay by the month or if it has to be an annual fee or what. I have no idea. But the subscription does have to be paid for you to take those images. Okay, so I think we'll go with a gold belt, and then I'm going to do stripes for her thing. So yeah, that's the question I want to put out to you, is do you think that it's all right to just say just Shutterstock? These images in this book are just Shutterstock. And people say it kind of quietly and, get the word out fast. People say, oh, they're just Shutterstock. I mean, that's the normal way people will say it. Looking for an artist and you can't find one, so you just go, oh, they're just Shutterstock. Now, when you look for an artist and you can't find the name of one, that doesn't mean they're Shutterstock. But that's a whole nother topic. I just want to know your opinion on it. And did you know that Shutterstock images were sold and purchased? Or is this all new to you? Oh, and this morning, I have to tell you, I was totally shocked. But Catherine at Catherine and Her Creations, she was showing her haul, and she just recently purchased that Circleism color by number book that, oh, there goes my voice again. Excuse me while I cough. And I'll have a sip. Sounds like she's coming back. Let's see. Oh, now I got a gravelly voice. Yeah, the Circleism book, that I think it's called Sea Life or something like that. That, remember, I found it ages ago, and then it kind of took off, and people are still buying it new and everything. But Catherine got her copy, and it was on normal paper. It wasn't on that glossy paper that Christine Caron uses. It was just on normal paper, she said. I'm like, what? That paper was half the deal of that book. Okay, the circles brought us to the book. That was cool. Let's try these circles. But if they'd just been on normal paper, I don't think I would have been as thrilled with it. I mean, I still would have colored in the pictures, but I certainly wouldn't be saving them like I am now. I just do a few every here and there because I like working in that book so much. I don't want to, like, do a whole bunch and, before I know it, I'm all out of pictures. Because they haven't published another book. At least the last time I looked, they hadn't. If they have, please do let me know. And now that makes me wonder if they ever did do a new book. Would they put it on the fancy paper again? Because the book wasn't outrageous. It didn't have an outrageous price. It was a little bit more than your average color by number, but not by much. I know I didn't have, I can't remember the price at all, but I had no qualms paying it, whatever it was. It just seemed like a normal price to pay. But yeah, that just totally shocked me. Has anybody else had that happen? Anybody else buy that book recently? You probably all know it has a different cover now from when it first came out. It used to have a blue cover, well, kind of like blue and black, which was so appropriate to the topic of, sea life creatures, the blue. And now it's red. I don't like that at all. But I'm most concerned about the paper. Because, I won't recommend the book as highly if I know it's just got normal paper in it. So, yesterday was Thursday, and I went to my doctor, my pain doctor. Oh, I'm just uncomfortable here right now. But, that reminds me, I have something to tell you. You know how I said I was going to buy myself a new chair? Well, I did it this morning. I bought myself a new chair, paid for it. It's going to be here on Thursday. So, woo! We'll go through the excitement of that next week. I am so excited because this does not do my body good. My thighs hurt, my back hurts. Well, not usually all at the same time because I, make sure I'm in a decently good condition before I start, but yeah. So that will be nice. And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I got my pain injections, and it had been a month since I last went to get them because I go every 2 weeks, and I had to cancel last time because the car was in the shop. So I wasn't able to go, so that meant that it's been a month. And oh, was I ever tender? Those needles hurt going in. I wasn't screaming like I did when I first started going. we'll sit in, like, when there was more people in the sitting room, we'd all be sitting around in the chairs and stuff, and from the office we would hear things like, ah, ow, oh, you know, all sorts of strange noises. And we'd all kind of look at each other, and people would have smiles or smirks on their face, and then somebody would say, newbie. And we're like, yep. We know what that was like. So yeah, I wasn't doing that. Nobody was saying the newbie in there. But I made some noise. Because I was very, very tender. But I got my shots everywhere. Because, you know, some weeks I don't need it everywhere. Because, you know, a certain part of me will be doing fine and hasn't caused me any problems. So he doesn't do there. He'll give somewhere that is giving me problems some extra. So yeah, we did that. And I asked him, I said, what about cortisone? Can we do that yet? And he goes, oh yeah, we're doing cortisone now, so sure, where are we getting it? And I said, well, on my left shoulder, because that's where I have the, what's it called? Something ptosis. I'll remember it. It'll come to me. Anyways, I have, tendinosis, that's it. I have torn tendons there, and one of them is completely torn all the way through. So, they aren't the kind that will mend themselves. These are permanent ones. And so, when I do get my cortisone shots, I get them either on that shoulder, on my right hip, or in my lower lumbar. So, yeah, and that's good news too, because both my son and my husband have plantar fasciitis on their feet, and they need to get. Oh, I was gonna do her in stripes. Oh well, it looks good. They were, yeah, so they get cortisone shots on their feet, because with this thing that they have, it makes their feet hurt really bad when they walk. Like, I've heard somebody describe it as like walking on glass. My son just gets into enormous pain. My husband doesn't seem to get into that much pain, but it's enough to bother him quite a lot. So it looks like my son lasted probably 2 years. 2 years with the shot, and my husband, he doesn't have to get them very often. It'll take him 4 or 5 years or more until he needs another shot. But you know, some people can get the cortisone shot and then that's fine. They're good to go, you know, like for life. And then other people need to get them every so often. I don't know what the basis is for on your feet. I know that the ones that I get in my body parts, well, not that your feet aren't body parts, but the certain body parts that I get the cortisone in, it's every 3 months. So, not allowed to give them any more than that, because, I mean, it's a steroid. It's not heavy duty. No, I wouldn't take anything like that. Just because I just wouldn't want what it does to my body. I would try and find other ways to deal with what they wanted me to take something like that for. But yeah, and then, oh yeah, afterwards, we went to Walmart, and so that we didn't have to get out the wheelchair and everything. I just sent him in there and told him what I wanted. And this was last night. Yeah, yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday. Today's Friday. Yeah, that's right. So, where was I? Oh yeah, so I had him go in there and I wanted him to pick up the new Mystery Colors magazine because I have a subscription. And I said to my husband, I said, you know, I think that last time I only got it because I called. So I'm not going to call this time, and let's see if I get it. So I went out and, like, that's what I did last night. Hubby picked up an issue of that for me. So if you're in Canada, you can always find it at Walmart. In their magazine section, not up at the front, but you know, down with the books and stuff where they have their magazines. So that happens and I'm fine, so I figure that I'll just be waiting now to see if it comes or not, but at least I have my book and I'm happy. And so the very next morning I receive a letter from an email from Mystery Colors, and the email says that they had produced far less magazines, or they weren't putting the blame on themselves. They were putting the blame on the printer, and that not enough copies had been made. And so they were telling us that we weren't going to get our copy because there weren't enough, not enough copies were made. Instead, or, you know, because this has happened, they're extending us one more issue than what we had originally signed up for, because of course we've missed one, so we're entitled to another one thrown on the end. So that's fine. And then they also included a PDF of all the pictures from that issue for us. To me, that would be useless because I'm not wasting all my ink on printing out Mystery Colors pages. I'm sorry. That's not the sort of thing I print out. But in all fairness, I really think they just came up with a different story and are putting the blame on their printer instead of accepting it themselves. So let's get these eyes done, guys. So part of me is thinking of doing them pink and blue. And the other part of me said, go for it. So if you want to watch, I'll get this the right way. I usually slant it a bit when I'm doing it, but so we use the light color first. And we get the tops off of these. So we do the light color first, and we draw around the eye. And then we do the top part of it and we come into the blue. So then we pick this up and we go back up into that color, and then this to come down into the color. Now I should be able to go up this time and it should work. And I feel like I've got too much of an edge there, so I need to bring that down. You just got to work now. There, now that it dried. I was going to say I was going to do some more blue, but it dried and I like it. Now this side I don't have any because of this white thing in our eye, so I'm just going to put a little bit up here for us to drag down into that, just so we can get a bit of the mixed colors. Yeah, got a bit of it. Okay, so I'm going to leave a bit of space there because the same thing's happening on this one. I'm going to go around the eye with your light color, always goes on the bottom. And then we fill in the top and go down into the blue and come back up into that, and then bring the purple back down into the blue. And we should be able to bring this up and have it smooth when it dries. And yeah, it looks good. Now I went outside of the lines there, so I'm going to grab my blender and see if I can erase it. Good thing this is the whites of our eye. Now I'm going to go over here and try and erase this little bit that I put over here too, because I don't like it. The only problem is when you're working on these eyes, only do it so many times. Otherwise the paper is going to break, because we're not dealing with paper that really wants to do blending. So yeah, it looks like that's going to be about as good as I get with that. Wait, not leave a pink shadow out there. Okay. Looking good. Oh, no, it's not looking good. Look at all this bleed over here. My markers are so juicy, it's just, I'm not used to them. I'm used to juicy markers, but these are just brand new. Now watch that bleed out again. Well, it doesn't seem to be. Oh boy. Guys, I'm hurting here. Oh, how long have I been? Does that say 52 or 22? Oh my goodness. I think it says 52. Well, I'll find out when it gets to the next 10. But I don't really have anything else to say, so let's finish off this picture. We don't have much left to do. Get yourself out 2 browns, and we're going to do her clogs and that. Actually, get out a brown, a lighter color brown than you used for the bridge, and then we want a rope color. And if we can find that yellow, where are the yellows? Melon yellow. Well, let's try melon yellow 33. 33, and I want my light brown to be, is there just tan? Brown, walnut, brown gray. None of those are good. I don't have very much selection with these, I tell ya. Walnut is dark. There isn't a light brown on here. I've forgotten what brown gray looks like. 104. 104, why aren't you coming? Have we used you? No. Well, there it is. Okay, it looks kind of yellowish on the top. Maybe this will give us a tan. So 104 I'm filling in. And it is brown gray. Oh, yeah, this is a nice light color. I don't know why I didn't remember that. This is a good color. Okay, great. We are going to use 104 brown gray, and we're going to do, I don't know the proper name for them, so I'm going to call them clogs. Now they're around the back. Oh, let's get you up on screen. They are around the back of this foot, and then that thing going down is what touches the ground. And we'll do this front one. Oh, that goes between the toe. Okay, I got it. Oh, this is where I need to remember this. That she's wearing tights or socks or something. Because she doesn't have any toes. I suppose she could be wearing skin-colored pantyhose. So, get yourself colored there. We'll use the yellow. I didn't check this. Let's see if I liked it for our purposes. 33. Yep, this will do. It's kind of, I don't know, just kind of a dull yellow, a bit of a dirty one. And let's color the rope in that color. See, it kind of just ties in with the shoe. Okay, now, I don't like using black as much as possible, so I like to use dark grays. Looking at my grays, well, I don't want her hair to be blue-gray. So I've got cool gray, which is going to be on the blue-gray side. Green gray is not dark enough, so warm gray goes up to an 8, so let's try that. Well, it's pretty black, but it is a shade lighter. So I think I'll go with that. What am I doing? Just want to use the thin end here while I get inside her ribbons here. Otherwise, I can use my chisel tip. And if you don't like using a chisel tip, I'll tell you, I used to hate chisel tips with a passion, and I swore I would never use them, and never in my life would I have dreamt of my using them. Well, I got tired of coloring everything in with that little bitty nib on the other end, so I started trying them, and I hated it, so I went back. And I played that little game with myself for a while, and then I started saying, okay, well, I'm going to try and learn this chisel nib thing. And I started using it for all the parts that it would fit. And that's how I came to use it. Once I got used to using it for large parts, I couldn't handle using the nib tib for the jeez. That's what Ann does. It's very hard not to say that. The nib tip. They should just change the name of it to the nib tib. Oh dear. So, oh, I know what we'll do for this last little bit. Well, I don't have anything to say. Let's do a would you rather. Yes. And I like the first question here. I've looked at the first few and the last few and the middle few just to make sure it would be right for our purposes. And I think I got a really, really good one. It's good for adults, but it's not anything, creepy or sexy or anything like that. Just some good discussion questions. Would you rather go into the past and meet your ancestors, or go into the future and meet your great-great-grandchildren? So I want you guys to answer that question down below, which you would rather do. Now, it's not very hard for me to answer that question, because if I went into the future, I would find out what happened to all my people now that I'm living with, and I wouldn't want to have that kind of recognition myself of knowing that, because how could you could not, when you're meeting with your great-great-grandchildren, you know, they're going to tell you who their daddy is and who his daddy was and who his daddy was, and then finally you're going to get to somebody who's alive in your world right now, and you're going to find out what happened to them, how old they were when they died, and did they get divorced, and, you know, so I wouldn't want to know any of that kind of stuff. And so that's one reason for not choosing that one. Now, another reason, which is for choosing the other one, is that I love history, and I love family history. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be my own family history to be to be into it. So I enjoy reading non-fiction books which go several generations, or just a couple of generations, through some person, whether they be famous or not. It's life. I really get into that. So to go back into the past and meet the relatives that I know about would be great. Now it said ancestors, so I'm assuming we're going to skip a couple generations here at least. So if it's my grandchildren, then going the other way, it would be my great-great-grandmother. Okay, now I never met any of them, but I have pictures of them. So I'd love to meet that generation, because they would have been the 1800s to the they'd be the Victorian era people on the one side. On the other side, they'd be the early 20th century to the mid, end of the 19th century up to mid 20th century, sort of. So yeah, I'd really like to do that. That would be fun, especially if I could bring things back with me. And because then I would bring back photographs with me, because I don't have any photographs of those people. Well, that's not true. I have a photograph of my great-great-grandmother on my dad's side. And she looks like she would be a lot of fun to know, because there's a picture of her. Like she was, they were quite poor. They, the family worked in textile mills back then, and they got diseases from working with all the fabrics and all that kind of stuff. My grandfather ended up getting cancer due to, well, he had a lot of sicknesses due to all the fluff and stuff that was in the air, because he worked in a textile mill. But in his 50s, he had to get out because he couldn't breathe, and then he got cancer in his lungs, and that was linked to it as well. So, but yeah, so I'm saying that my relatives weren't well off in any matter, any form of the I don't know what I'm saying, in any way. There, that's easier. So they lived hand to mouth. But that great granny, there's a picture of her sitting on the back of some kind of motorbike, and she's got her leather hat on and her goggles up onto her forehead and stuff, and she's just got this great big open mouth like she's laughing, going, "Ah!" You know. Just, she looks like she's having so much fun. And yeah, they're coming out of an alley. So they must have been riding the thing somewhere, and they're kind of in an area where there's grocers, like, you know, food grocers. So I'll have to find that picture out and show it to you sometime. But I don't have a lot of pictures from that far back. So yeah, if I could bring pictures back, I'd love to. And then if I could go back even further, like, is this, it doesn't say anything about it, just says go into the past and meet your ancestors. So I'm imagining that I'm on a kind of yeah, time travel machine. And so then we would go back even further. I'd like to see how far back the family went and it still had its last name. And then kind of, you know, kind of gone back into the 1500s, 1600s, and see what the family was doing, what the last name was. Was it still the same, or did it get changed after that? So yeah. So that's the family that I would go back on. It's my dad's side of the family. That's definitely what I would do. Okay, so we gotta speed up here, guys, because this is gonna be a long vlog. I actually felt like I was talking to you then. Okay, so we just have her sword to do, and I think maybe, since this was so long, I think maybe I'm going to leave you to your devices for the sword. What you're going to need, I mean, instead of coloring this gray, if you do have a gray metallic marker or a gray metallic gel pen, that would be good to use. I have the silver one. Oh no, that's Crayola. Don't like those as much. I want to find Sergeant Art. Where's Sergeant Art Silver? Blue. What's this? Crayola, where are you coming from? Oh, is that it? Oh, okay, well, I've got a really good gray gel pen. It's the Uniball Signo Broad, I believe. I can't see what that says. I don't have my reading glasses on. Uniball Gel Impact, and it's a 1.0, which I'm pretty sure they sell them in packs that say broad. This doesn't have hardly any ink in it. But this works good. Works really good for coloring in, since it has a big tip on it. Just go up to the black lines, and then you won't cover them, because that's the problem with metallic gel pen, is it gets rid of it's opaque, so it gets rid of the black lines, which is what we want to do sometimes, but not this time. So yeah, with that, then I would probably do this in brass or gold. You know, brass would be just kind of a darker gold color. And you could continue to switch your silver and gold colors up here, or you could simply just color it whatever colors you want to. Incorporate the red back into there, or something like that. So finish off your sword and then use your embellishments. Put some, maybe put some white lines in her hair. Put some stickles on the sword, and some in the sky and in the water and on the end of her thing. Yeah, so add some glitter gels or stickle. Finish off her sword and you'll be done. I think I like to leave it that way. Just have that little bit to finish off on your own. And why don't we post them on Instagram as Nikki's Coloralong #1. NIKKIS challenge, CHALLENGE. I don't think we should put a number hashtag in there. We'll just put 01. So Nikki's, no, it isn't a challenge, it's, it's a color-along. So Nikki's Color-along, all one word. We'll spell it with the American O-R. And then just end it with 01. And I'll write it down below so that you don't have to remember any of that. I just want to quickly end this because it's going to be just a bit over 2 hours, or it's going to be, if I'm lucky, it'll be a bit before. Because I think I only did 45 minutes last time, so we're just hitting the mark where it's going to be either 2:15 or it's going to be 2. So I'm going to end for this week, and I hope all goes well with you throughout the week. I'm wanting and hoping that you're all staying safe and stay safe, stay healthy, wear a mask, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.